These are the notes for, we're going to break lesson 2.5 into three lessons, 2.5A, B, and C. So these are notes for 2.5A, and all we're working on here is finding the least common denominator. And in order to add and subtract fractions, we have to have common denominators. So if we look at the first problem there, number 2, we have 4/15 plus negative 7/9. Our denominators are the 15 and the 9. So we're going to look at 15 and 9 and find out their least common multiple, which would give us their least common denominator. So there are two ways of figuring this out. First way is you can use your factor tree method. Break it all the way down to prime numbers. 15 would break down to 3 times 5. 3 is prime and 5 is prime. 9 breaks down to 3 times 3. 3 is prime and 3 is prime, so 3 times 3. So then we use these prime numbers to help us find the least common multiple of 15 and 9. So first we look for doubles. So we have a pair of 3's, write down a 3. We have no other doubles, no other pairs, so we look for singles after that. We have a single 5, bring it down, a single 3, bring it down. And then we multiply all of those together and we get 45. So 45 is the LCM, or least common multiple, of 15 and 9, which means our least common denominator for these fractions would be 45. The other way to do this is to list all of your multiples. So you always count by the biggest number first: 15, 30, 45, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. So you would just keep counting until you found the first one that they had in common. Okay? Then we use that to rewrite our fractions. 45 plus 45, and then 15 times 3 gave us 45, so we have to do 4 times 3, which would give us 12. Then 9 times 5 gave us 45, so we have to do 7 times 5, which gives us 35. And then it's negative 7/9, so we want that negative sign up there with the 35. Okay? And from there, you would go ahead and do your adding or subtracting with those numbers. But again, we're just working on least common denominator right now. Okay, so if we look at problem 4 then, 8 and 3. So again, 8 and 3, if we count up by 8s, 24, 32, and on, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So we see the first number they have in common is 24. And again, you can do the factor tree method. 8 would break down to 4 times 2, and 2 is prime. 4 breaks down to 2 times 2, so we have 2 times 2 times 2. And then 3 is prime, so its only prime factor is 3. So then we have no doubles. Again, these don't count as doubles. These would not count as doubles because they're with the same number. So we have no doubles. So we have 3 single 2's and a single 3. Multiply all that together and you would get 24. So our least common multiple of 8 and 3 is 24. So 24 and 24, we're adding, and 8 times 3 is 24, so 5 times 3 would give us 15. So whenever you multiply the bottom by to get that number, you have to multiply the top by the same thing. So 3 times 8 is 24, 1 times 8 is 8, and it's negative as well. So negative 15 24ths plus negative 8 over 24. And then we'll just keep going right down the list here and finding common denominators. So 6 and 3, that's a pretty easy one. That would be 6 as our common denominator. So 6 times 1 is 6, so 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 times 2 is 4, and it would be negative. Okay. The number 8 there, 14 would be your common denominator. 7 would go into 14, so you'd have negative 2 minus 3/14. There's those two. Get those written down. If you want to try number 10 there, go ahead and hit pause and see if you can get all the common denominators in number 10. So if we did your factor tree here, 5 is prime, it would just be 5. 4 would break down to 2 times 2. And 8 would break down to 4 times 2. 2 is prime, 2 and 2. So 2 times 2 times 2. So when you have 3 numbers, you look for triples first, then doubles, then singles. So we have no triples, but we have a pair of 2s and a second pair of 2s. So no more pairs. Then we go to singles. We have a single 5 and a single 2. And we multiply all of that together. 2 times 2 is 4, times 5 times 2 is 10, 4 times 10 is 40. So our least common denominator for all 3 of these will be 40. So we write 40 3 times. 5 times 8 is 40, 2 times 8 is 16, negative 16, minus 4 times 10 is 40, so 3 times 10 is 30, negative 3, so negative 30. 8 times 5 is 40, so 5 times 5 is 25, and that was a positive 5 up there, minus 25/40. So there's your two fractions there. For number 12, 9, 3, and 5, our common denominator there will be 45. So you see if you got that right using our methods of what we just spoke about. 9 times 5 is 45, 2 times 5 is 10, and negative, subtracting. 3 times 15 is 45, 1 times 15 is negative 15, minus, and 5 times 9 is 45, 3 times 9 is 27, and it's negative as well. So there's what your new fraction should be there. Okay. Number 9, back to just 2 numbers, common denominator there would be 4, so negative 3 over 4 minus negative 2 over 4. Alright, so for homework, why don't you go ahead and do 11 and 13. Find the common denominators and the new fractions for 11 and 13.